Welcome to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
Hola, party peoples. I hope you guys enjoyed Monday Night Raw. It is Dunzo in the books, as they say. And it is time to talk about what we saw. Okay? Now, Seth Rollins kicked off the show with his merry band of whatever he wants to call them.
Idiots.
And technically, they're not idiots.
Idiots.
Meatheads is a more appropriate term. But I'm trying to be nice. You're making me be me again. Stop it.
I'm not making you do shit. I said that.
Stop. Tangerines. You know what? That actually works because they both orange and
shit.
golden brown. You said grapefruits. Oranges, like Rico say, an orange or my mama.
Let him catch that.
Okay. Seth was gonna talk, but Bron Breakker for some reason decided that he needed to tell everybody why he hates Sami Zayn. And it just gave hater. It gave I don't understand why I'm not popular and he is. When in all actuality, you are popular, but you're just boring. You have nothing to offer other than you're a meathead. Just because Sami doesn't work out as much as you do, and because Sami doesn't have your version of athleticism, doesn't make him any less of a competitor or a man. What really baffles me is that you could question his ability when Sami can wrestle circles around you. If we're being fair, a lot of y'all will give Bron Breakker a pass because he has some semblance of talent. It's not that Bron Breakker isn't talented. That isn't the issue. The issue is Bron Breakker is arrogant, and he comes from a family of just listen. His uncle was a motherfucking steroid using bitch, and he wasn't that great of a wrestler either. I was around when the Steiner brothers were wrestling, and his brother was twice the wrestler that he was. The reason why Scott Steiner got over as much as he did was because he looked like a sideshow freak, and that was all due to the chemicals that he was shooting up in his body. So while I will never deny what Bron Breakker brings to the table and how athletic he is, how good he is, that does not mean that Sami Zayn isn't good enough or shouldn't be there. And just because you're jealous of the fact that the people love him and cheer for him, and you know why they do, it's because Sami has something that he shares right along with CM Punk and several other superstars who get cheered irregardless of whether they are a heel or a face. And that is called relatability. They see Sami and they see themselves. When they see you, they see a typical high school jock who is nothing but a bully. You have a great spear, sir, that you're heavily reliant on. I think that's something you should be more focused on rather than Sami Zayn. But I digress. He decided to beat down Sami Zayn verbally and then gave the mic back to Seth. Then Seth decided to let Bronson Reed talk, which was very interesting. You see, Bronson Reed didn't cut down his opponent, Jey Uso. He essentially said, you don't respect me, so I'm going to have to make you respect me the way I made Seth Rollins respect me. I had to give Seth Rollins tsunami after tsunami after tsunami after tsunami to make him see that he was going to respect me one way or another. Now, if I distinctly remember, that's not why you said you did what you did to Seth Rollins. You said that you wanted to get yourself at the table. You wanted a seat. You also said that you were making a name for yourself, and what better way to do that than to take out the franchise boy? That's what you said. You didn't say anything about respect. That never came up. But it was the way you delivered this speech that made me have a little pause, because Seth Rollins never reacted to what you said. He said, I literally had to tsunami respect into Seth. Well, that's not what happened either. Seth Rollins suffered the tsunamis, true enough, but then after that, you went up against Braun Strowman, and then he curb stomped your ass on the steel steps. That's what happened. Yet we're talking about beating respect into each other. And Seth just seemed to be unfazed. He's very much of a, if I can't beat him, I'll join him type of situation. And I think in Bronson Reed's case, this is an opportunity. He knew that he needed a seat at the table. He understood that there was no space. But he knows if he aligns himself with Seth for a little while, that he'll have that space at the table. Now, everybody's probably thinking Bronson Reed is going to be the one to turn on Seth Rollins when that time comes. I disagree. I think the problem is Bron Breakker. He's a hothead to the 90th degree, and he has no control over himself. It's almost like he works himself up on purpose. It's very strange. But he's going to be your problem. It's not going to be Bronson. It's going to be him. Did Paul call them the Empire? Paul Heyman made a reference to the Empire Strikes Back, and then he said, actually, let me reiterate, the Empire Strikes first. So there was no reference to them being called the Empire or that's their name. He was making a reference to the movie The Empire Strikes Back. But if that's what you want to call them, that's your business. I have nothing but respect. If that's what you want to call them, be my guest. Hello, Aaliyah. How are you? He said he was going to maul Sammy's head off. I was like, friend, it's either gnaw or rob. Come on the English side. Come on the English language. Shouldn't be too hard. The English language is very hard for a lot of people, even for us lonely Americans. That and Scott's pets will eternally be on two separate planets, okay? I remember what he said. I was there, period. How about the Bronson twins? How about them? Anywhoosies. Seth Rollins then made it very clear that they was going to sweep the show, and basically there was nothing else for him to say other than welcome to Monday Night Rollins. He said his piece and then he walked out. This is after Paul Heyman cut a promo. I just thought it was so weird that all of them were talking, and I'm just like, none of you are on the same page, which is very strange to me. It's like y'all have a particular way of navigating in this group, but y'all all take y'all orders or y'all cues from Seth Rollins. Okay. Now, let's do a little round robin, shall we? Sami Zayn had his match tonight. He went up against Bron Breakker. That was the scheduled match for the night. Was Bron Breakker versus Sami Zayn. And I believe this was the first match of the night. Sami Zayn suffered an attack by Karrion Kross. He was asked earlier how he felt about being attacked last week. And Sami basically said, listen, I know Karrion is somewhere around here lurking, ready to take me out. I know this. Okay. I know that I'm also going to have to deal with Bron Breakker. But he said, I can't worry about Karrion Kross because I have a match. And arguably, whether he talks about me or not, I don't really care what he thinks about me. When he's in that ring, he's one of the most dangerous wrestlers in this company. So I have to be focused. I can't worry about Karrion. He said, I'll deal with Karrion later. But right now, Bron Breakker is my problem. He got ready to go out to the ring. He was still taped up, and Karrion Kross attacked him again with a steel pipe. Now, Providence, Rhode Island seems to be very big on Karrion Kross, and his popularity across the board is growing and growing and growing. Outside of kayfabe, good for Karrion. Okay, it's about damn time that the man deserves some type of accolades, right? But here's where I'm having an issue. Everybody always gets built off of Sami's back, and I don't like it. I hate the fact that Sami has to suffer all the time in storyline, not outside of storylines. I'm not talking about outside of kayfabe. I'm talking about storyline-wise. Sami is always being built, used to put somebody else over, and he never really gets the opportunity to shine until he has some type of underdog story. They give him that, and then he gets to be champion for like 1.25 days, and then he drops the title. And it really sucks because Sami is a formidable champion. The only time he has longevity as champion is when he's a heel. And I feel like Sami Zayn deserves a lot more than that. He deserves better than that. But, you know, what do I know? I'm just a lowly fan with a YouTube channel. But to finish this up, Sami Zayn got attacked with the lead pipe, but he still went on ahead and decided to do the match with Bron Breakker. And he was a sitting duck. Bron Breakker just basically picked the bones of what was left of Sami Zayn. And what I really hated was that Corey and Michael seemed to be under the impression that Sami Zayn was doing this all for the WWE Universe. It had nothing to do with the fact that this grown man was in the ring disrespecting him prior to their match, or that he's been attacked mercilessly by this grown man and his merry band of idiots. And it had nothing to do with the fact that Karrion Kross has been targeting him for months. It had to be that he was going out there for the adulation of the WWE Universe. Please give me a fucking break. It's not the end of the world that the WWE Universe is behind Sami Zayn. But what I won't do is take full and utter responsibility for this man's tenacity. Now, was his tenacity to his detriment today? Absolutely. And Adam Pearce should have used his managerial duties and been like, you're not wrestling. They're not clearing you. Go to the back. That's it. We're done. But no. Adam told him he can go as long as he says he's ready to go. So, sure, go off. Whatever makes you happy, love. But just to clear things up, Sami Zayn did lose this match. And that was that. Now, Elias, he said he was gonna. Okay, I did read that part. Cool. Read that part. Cool. Nah, I still call them Bron squared. I wanted to call them Beauty and the Beast, and y'all know which one is which. Both of them beasts, so I guess you meant Beauty and the Beast. Which one of them Beauty? I've never been one to find Seth Rollins attractive, but Becky does, and that's all that matters. I've never been one to find Bron Breakker attractive or Bronson Reed, but I don't need to because neither one of them is my man, and I'm not bearing their children, so that's their business. We're going to move into Judgment Day. Judgment Day seems to be very excited, and of course, Finn Balor, the only OG member in the group currently, is very excited that Judgment Day is now back on top. With majority of the gold on Monday Night Raw, Judgment Day seems to be back to dominating the scene. The Intercontinental Championship, the women's tag, and men's tags are all being held by Judgment Day members. And of course, everything seems to be going Finn's way. Finn has curated his group to now be what he believes it to be. Because when you listen to Finn, you win. But in Judgment Day fashion, they put up a nice memorial for Liv Morgan, which was so disrespectful. And I don't even fuck with Liv like that, but it was just disrespectful. They put up a memorial for that woman and she's not dead. Raquel's like, what is this? She's not dead. They were like, listen, this is our way of paying our respects to our fallen member. And when she's back, she's back. And Finn keeps saying, look, I had a shoulder injury. I was out for 8 months. I don't think Liv Morgan is going to be out for 8 months. I do think that she'll be out until probably Royal Rumble time. But I do not think she'll be out for 8 months. If she comes back before 8 months, before Royal Rumble, I'll be surprised, but I'll be happy for her because an injury like what Liv suffered is a freak accident, and most people are sidelined for a very long time. So her coming back from that injury strong, proud, and ready to go within a few months' time would be a major boom for Liv Morgan and what she could really do. But, you know, that would all depend on Liv Morgan's healing power. Okay. And what she can go ahead and do. But if she can be on some Super Cena shit, that would be wonderful for her. You know? Bronson Reed is not a bad looking guy, but I love Breakker more. I don't really care for either one of them, honestly. Who's prettiest? I'll let you guys have that argument. Yeah, that shit is wild. I think she'll be back before Rumble. If she is, I'll be happy for her because I don't like injuries. And even outside of kayfabe, I would never wish injury on anybody. So I'm glad that, you know, she's rehabbing and everything seems to be going smooth. Hopefully things will be even smoother and she'll pop back up. Okay. But listen, there was a cake in the clubhouse. All of the guys had decided they had orders. Roxanne was getting ready to go out for her match with Kyrie Sane. And of course, AJ Styles had a little message for Dom. He left him a nice little, you know, Costco cake. Told him, get well soon, Dom, from AJ. And AJ popped out the back of that damn roadie case talking about, bitch, I'm watching you. Dom went to go grab the cake. The doctor's note, came back and fucking, he was gone. I'm like, this is crazy but hilarious. I'm living because it's fucking funny, okay? It is hilarious. But I can't wait for when Dom is actually cleared and ready to go. It'll be AJ Styles versus Dom. They might have them do that at SummerSlam, which I wouldn't mind. They got to fill up that card, so they probably gonna battle it out at SummerSlam, child. Moving forward, there were a few video packages today. Nikki Bella had one. I ain't gonna hate on the woman. She cut a pretty decent promo, and she made sure to tell everybody that this was not a one-off thing for her coming back, but Liv Morgan's attack lit a fire under her, and she's ready to return, ready to go. I'm gonna be honest with you, babe. I'm not gonna be concerned with whether you come back or you stay gone. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care. But if you come back and you find and you do whatever you gotta do. But me personally, I don't really care. How long will it take for the AJ Dom to become a meme? The AJ Dom segment to become a meme. You can meme it right now. Anybody can create a meme. Let us continue. Let's talk about Becky Lynch and her tired ass ponytail. She decided today to cover up the tape ends. She had enough hair on the sides of her head to cover up her tape ends. And she decided to come out there in her parachute pants and parachute jacket. No shade to her. It did have the Palestinian flag colors on it. It did look nice. But she looked like she was finna hot air balloon her ass up out of there. But anyway, she came out there to continue to have this weirdo conspiracy theory where everything centers around her. She is running off all her accolades and how great she is, how she's been named the greatest women's champion of all time, blah, blah, blah. Then she goes, I know Lyra and Bayley are teaming up and conspiring against me. Girl, have you lost your ever-loving mind? You're not that important, Shugs. You're not. The only reason why you're a part of this equation is because you have the title. If you did not have the title, no one would be asking for you to be a part of that match. Sorry, that's just the facts. Not only did you cheat to beat Lyra in the first place, the stipulations of y'all match forced that woman to raise your hand. And then you continue to berate that woman over and over again until she snapped and was beating the hell out you. Now, for a little bit, I'm going to take a little breather off of Crossfire and we're going to get on Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria, I don't know who told you this, but I'm going to right some wrongs here. I don't know why you feel like you're entitled to Bayley as a friend. I don't understand that. I understand you felt like she kind of left you hanging and you were supposed to be cool. But if I am supposed to be wrestling and we supposed to be tag partners and I get attacked and then you pop up with somebody else who I know attacked me, you feel me? And then that said person has been mocking me on television for the past couple of months. And you're arguing with her over and over again. And the only time you say anything is when you say, well, Bayley is twice the woman that you are. She was there for me, this, and this. That's cool. But Bayley had something else that she had to deal with. Not only did Bayley lose her opportunity to become tag team champion, she also lost her opportunity to have a Mania moment, which you got 3 times over. You got to be tag team champion and intercontinental champion, and you had a WrestleMania moment with one of the biggest women in the business. Now, you're standing here allowing Becky to manipulate you into being angry with Bayley when Bayley is not even your fucking problem. Your problem is Becky. She is the issue. And instead of you focusing on Becky and letting Bayley do what she do, you decided to allow your anger to move, to obviously shape your judgment and continue to push you into this direction. First of all, Bayley has every right to be mad at your stupid ass. Why? Because the last time Bayley and Becky was in the ring, you decided to interfere and get involved. Nobody asked you to bring your big-headed ass out there. Nobody asked your hunchback of Notre Dame ass to get in that ring and attack that girl while she was wrestling Bayley. It was the middle of the match and you got involved. And the only thing you can give me is I'm sorry. And then you want to get in the ring talking about some, oh, now you want to talk to me. Bitch, if I never talk to you again, that's my prerogative. I don't know why you feel like you're entitled to this woman's admiration and friendship, but she doesn't have to give it to you. She was the one who got laid out at before WrestleMania. That was her. While you was running around here being a champion and a boring one at that. And I will say one thing Becky was right about. She is the reason why you are even worth watching at this current time. Because prior to this, you was a footnote. You were nothing. No headliner. No second act. You were boring, Huey. Boring. Okay? So let's not get it twisted. Let's not do that. Let's keep it all the way funky. You're not entitled to her being your friend. Once she tell you, if you ask her, is you cool? And she say, yeah, we cool. All right, that's the end of that. I'm walking away and handling my business on my own. Whatever you got going on with Becky is your business. I'm going to head up and get mines later. Now, Bailey, I ain't really got no smoke for you because you told Lyra the motherfucking truth. You gave Lyra all of the tea she needed. She was like, you sitting up here, and Lyra, I don't know why you equating Becky and Bailey to the same thing, because you know damn well that they aren't, but you keep letting your anger cloud your judgment. And that's the reason why you lost the title in the first place, is because you let this hoe get in your head. She been running around here spewing nonsense for months. You knew this, and yet you let yourself get so mad that you got so emotional that you was off your game for 5 minutes, and the bitch rolled you up and used your own draws to keep you pinned. And now you want to sit up here and get mad at Bailey because she don't want to fuck with you. I wouldn't want to fuck with your ass either. I don't have time for this bullshit. I'm trying to get mines. You're going to be here long after I'm gone. Okay? I'm trying to get 9 mines now while I can. So, that's crazy to me. Bird brain ass. You get what I'm saying? The championship was wearing you, and it was. Anyways, Bailey straight up told her, like, I was here. I watched everything you was doing. I watched when you became champion. I watched you defend that title. Then I watched you go to Mania, become a double champion, come back, and then I watched you lose that title to Becky, and then you held up her hand like a bitch. And I was like, and did. You did. That's when the girls started brawling. Now, Lyra laid out both of them. I'm telling you right now, Lyra Valkyria is not becoming Intercontinental Champion. Either Bailey's going to get the title or Becky's going to retain. There is no middle ground. I don't want to hear no argument. I said what I said. Okay? El Grande Americano has made his official return to WWE. Lovely Kaiser is El Grande Americano. What really fucked me up about this is that for whatever reason, the Creeds and Ivy decided to go to Pierce to complain. Bitch, for what? Brutus is the one who was like, well, I mean, Chad's injured, so, and he's like, okay. He was like, well, obviously it took Julius to tell that nigga to shut the fuck up. Bro, we all know who it was. Nobody knew. Nobody was sitting up here like, oh, wow. No, we all knew. We all knew, fam. Like, pull it together. Child, when I tell you this match was good, but it was hilarious to watch him come out because he wanted to do his natural walk so bad, but he couldn't stop himself. He had to hurry up and stop himself from doing it, and he had to slowly walk out. Child, this was the funniest shit I done seen. My only problem with this is I feel like WWE should have done a better job with the mask. Like, give Ludwig a better mask to wear, okay? So that he could actually perform with the mask on and it not look crazy. Because it just looked like it doesn't fit. And I know it doesn't fit because he's taller and bigger. It just don't fit, bro. I'm so over this. It was so fucking stupid. Now, earlier we got Roxanne Perez versus Kyrie Sane. And Roxanne and Kyrie. I can't talk. I do this with Pierce and Nick and everybody. Everybody got a last name. I turn them into two people. Why? Jesus. Y'all give me something to drink. Can I have a squirt, please? Listen. Roxanne had her match with Kyrie. And basically she was trying to make Kyrie Sane pay for causing Liv Morgan's injury. Let me make sure y'all understand this. Kyrie Sane did not cause Liv Morgan's injury. It was an accident. All right. Woo. Okay. This match was really good. Kyrie was able to pick up the win on a roll up. And that was mainly because you had Raquel Cobra was getting involved. Roxanne thought she could use Cobra as a distraction, and it didn't work. She ended up not being able to use Pop Rocks. Kyrie contest. She basically countered it and was able to roll the girl up and got the pin. They attacked Kyrie Sane, and this has led to the final team being added to Evolution. As Kyrie Sane was being attacked, Asuka came out to her former tag team's rescue, and the Kabuki Warriors have been reformed, and they will compete against none other than Roxanne, Cobra, Charlotte, Bliss, and Zarya and Sol Ruka are the team from NXT that will compete in that match. Love that for them. I love that for them. Now he was yelling in German. Oh my God.
Yeah, he was, because Michael was speaking that talking about, so I don't think that
I don't think that was Spanish. Jesus Christ. This is a nightmare. Anywhoosies, we also had a match with Jey Uso and Bronson Reed. The whole night was geared towards Seth Rollins and his whole crew getting wins. But all of them didn't win. You see, Bronson Reed ended up getting super kicked into a chair and then super kicked out of it. And as Jey Uso was getting ready to add, some fuel to the fire, Bronson Reed threw the goddamn chair at him and the ref called it. So it was a disqualification. And not only that, but he made the man suffer multiple tsunamis, which he promised to do, on some bullshit narrative about him not respecting him. Ugh, I don't know. But it seems that this little crew of Seth Rollins is not going to stop doing what they're doing. I say let them figure it out. Whatever they're trying to do, let their asses do it. Then we'll see. When they have no opposition, they have nothing else to do. Turn their ass right into motherfucking Dark State. Dark State has nothing going on over in NXT. Nothing. Do you understand me? Nothing. They are boring, Huey. Okay? They attacked in TNA. That's how much they got to do right now. We saw a bunch of vignettes. Like I said, we saw one vignette from Nikki Bella. We saw a nice little vignette of Stephanie back here. We saw a vignette for Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, their upcoming match at Evolution. And all of the women who were in vignettes essentially were added to the Battle Royal. And so was Ivy Nile. So the last match of the night went to Penna and Seth Rollins. Actually was a pretty decent match. It wasn't bad at all. But Penna ended up suffering a pin due to Seth Rollins low blowing him. He thought he had the bag. He ended up telling Paul Heyman to call in the reinforcements to beat Penna down as well, beating him in the submission. But that all failed when his homeboys was too fucking big to get down to the ring in time, only for him to suffer a BFT via your man's LA Knight. And it was so hilarious watching LA Knight run, hop the barricade in some motherfucking Timberland boots is nuts. Okay. But what was funny was watching Brian Breaker's ass try to get over the barricade and he couldn't get over there, so he had to do a handstand. I think it was tip drilling. To see Bobby on the handstand. Right? Tell her. Yes. Oh, geez. Stop. This is OG fucking ludicrous over here, bro. The fans that are fans of women's wrestling are upset. They feel it's been thrown together. Okay. Like, have you been watching anything? Everything is rushed. Literally. They twiddling their thumbs. To be fair, I'm okay with Kyrie Sane and Asuka getting back together. There was nothing for Asuka to do at this current moment, and it doesn't look like Io and Rhea Ripley are going to end their feud at Evolution. I think they're going to end up running it back at SummerSlam as well. I don't think that I think that Evolution the card was rushed for sure. I do think that, but I don't think it's a bad PLE when you look at how this card is structured. I think the PLE itself is actually pretty decent. Card matches are pretty decent. Like there's not a lot of drama when it comes to how this card is shaping up. And I still think that this card is much better than the card we had previously when it comes to Evolution. So let's look at it. Let's look at the Evolution card, okay? Evolution is on Sunday, July 13th. Yes. Okay. Don, you see what I'm saying? Evolution is on Sunday, July 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, and it is emanating from Atlanta, Georgia. You can watch Evolution on Peacock in the States and on Netflix everywhere else. And it's sponsored by Maybelline. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Anyways. Jar, give him some of these melatonin, please. He takes like 4 of them. All right. So the Battle Royal is set, and we do know that some people are going to be in it. Plus, we also know, okay, that good old Ava. Thank you. That good old Ava is going to announce who will also be in a Battle Royal coming from NXT, okay? But the Battle Royal currently is going to consist of Stephanie, Nikki Bella. It's going to have Ivy Nile, and several other people will be participating from the main roster, of course. And you're going to have some NXT girlies in there. I hope to see Lash in there. I want to see... I don't really want to see Jada Parker. I'm tired of her. Lola can get in there. She haven't really been doing nothing. Put Fallon's ass in there so she can get eliminated first. I want to see her ass get eliminated. But you got the girls on the card. Both champions are going to be competing on this card, which is very interesting. I didn't think they would put Tiffany on the card, but they did. So the first championship match is going to be with Io Sky and, of course, Rhea Ripley. And then the other championship match is Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. I wasn't a fan of this one, but that's what they chose to do, apparently. And I'm just like, okay. I didn't like that. I'm just going to be honest. I wasn't a fan of it, but it is what it is. I can't really change anything. I feel like they had an opportunity to give her a true opponent. This is a cheap win for Tiffany, whereas Io and Rhea have real history, and they're going to actually battle in that match. Joe, throw Jasmine in just to throw her out. I don't even want her in the Battle Royal, honestly. She's a waste of space. That's a waste of a slot. The Battle Royal, well, this women's tag team match has had all its participants added. They just haven't put the infographic up so I can have the correct one. So, pardon me. But currently, we've got Charlotte, Alexa, And then you have Zarya and Sol Ruka. And of course, you have the Kabuki Warriors reunited to face off against the current tag team champs of Raquel Cobrabeck and Roxanne Perez. Okay. Me personally, I don't think that they're going to drop those tag team titles to anybody, but it's very possible that they could. I just don't see them dropping those tag team titles. We're going to move on because the first match booked for this card was this title match with Jacy Jayne facing off against Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace earned the right to face off against Jacy Jayne in a fatal four-way eliminator style match. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. Then we had my y'all favorite Becky Lynch is the current women's Intercontinental Champion, and she is going to face off against two opponents who hate each other, but you really hate her more, and that is Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Hopefully, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria will focus on Becky and not focus on each other too much to the point where they miss the plot. You feel me? And lastly, we got a match that a rivalry that actually is real, has a real rivalry to it, a real attachment, and that is Jade Cargill facing off against none other than our caution queen, Naomi, the current Miss Money in the Bank. Now, Naomi has been torturing Jade ever since Jade beat her at WrestleMania. She has tried to leave Naomi in the past where she belongs, according to Jade, but Naomi has been coming after her time and time again. And this time she attacked Jade after Jade had a little light conversation with Trish Stratus. Once Jade got done, she hit that woman in the back so hard with that briefcase, she threw her ass to the floor. And then she laughed in her face and told her to proceed with caution. Jade got upset and went to Nicholas and said, Nick, I'm sick of this shit. Give me Naomi. Now, Nicholas said, you know what? I got you. You can fight Naomi, and you guys will fight at Evolution. But it is not just going to be a regular ass match. Oh, nay. These women will fight in a no-holds-barred match. And I suspect that Naomi's probably going to end up winning that match. Bailey has hate both of them hoes. Well, Bailey do hate both of them, but she hate Becky more. Bring me my girls. I remember I had that on here for the last Evolution, I think. Bring me my girls. Bring me my girls. Bring me my girls. Now, the Evolution card to me is fairly decent considering they didn't put a lot behind it in terms of rivalries, but I like this card the way that it is. I think that giving us a random match for the tag team titles doesn't require a lot of work. You put together tag teams to work on this card, but you also threw in some NXT people. This is going to give them exposure, and again, iron sharpens iron. When you look at this tag team setup, it's got some OGs in here, you've got some youth in here, of course, and like I said, you got some former multi-time tag team champions in Bliss and the Kabuki Warriors. You got some severe noobs in Zarya and Sol Ruka, and of course you got the four-time tag team champion in Raquel, and you got Roxanne as a first-time tag champion. This is a good mix of solid wrestlers in this match, and a lot of y'all are requiring for it to be so deep and so it gotta be over. This is not enough. I don't like this. Why are y'all throwing this together? And granted, they did throw it together, but even in throwing it together, they did a damn good job booking this card. The matches for this don't require a lot of nuance. It was effortless to put it together. You already had a rivalry in Naomi and Jade. That was simple. The only one that I think is unnecessary and too much is this match, because to me, there's no point in having Tiffany Stratton face off against Trish Stratus. What you should have done is held off on Nia and Trish and had Nia and Tiffany Stratton face off at Evolution. But you was pushing to have these title matches on Friday in Saudi, and you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. Nah, that bird bitch got us fucked up. And do. I take this over some of the last Evolution matches. I'm just saying. Because when you look at this card, it's worth it. JC Jane is making this rivalry along with Jordan Grace worthwhile. If you're not paying attention to NXT, that's your fault. You should be paying more attention. This is a rivalry in itself. All three of these women have animosity and hatred towards each other. This match was not thrown together. If it was, it would have been booked long before JC Jane and Jordan Grace's. They gave it time to build it up to what it is. Y'all are being too picky. Y'all are being too overly nitpicking when it comes to this evolution shit. If you want this to be successful, I'm not saying you just have to accept anything, but your ass needs to be seated and watching. And you need to be encouraging other people to watch instead of going online, adding more online discourse and bullshit to the already misogynistic world that we live in. And a lot of y'all that were begging for this damn show are going to get a quality PLE, and you're mad in your feelings because there ain't no old heads on the show other than Nikki Bella and motherfucking Trish Stratus. You don't know who else is going to pop up. But to me, you don't need them. You have a WWE women's division in one of the deepest divisions in this promotion, one of the deepest divisions in the wrestling game. And you are so concerned about seeing Jacqueline, Ivy, and the rest of the OG girls that you will not focus on the talent that we already have. You really need to. Like, get your shit together. What did you think of the New Day segment? I wasn't going to not bring it up, Kayla. I was going to bring it up. I just hadn't had the chance to bring it up. And yes, Evolution just popped up, but it's been in the talk since late last year. Evolution has been something they have been planning for weeks. This wasn't like they just decided yesterday to throw together a PLE. Okay? As far as New Day segment is concerned, they claim they mourning the tag team division because it's dead. Now that they don't have the tag team titles. I hate to say this, but I disagree wholeheartedly. The tag team division is going to thrive because you don't have the titles. I think that y'all being dramatic about the women's division, about the tag team division, and y'all thinking is having y'all mourning for losing the titles, whatever. New Day ain't really hitting on much as far as I'm concerned. So if that's what they want to do, that's their business. I was like, what in the seventh black veil is going on? And they both look like they was finna go to something like they side nigga funeral. I was like, okay. If this is how you live your best life, I that is not my cup of tea. So not the women's division. That's what they was giving. Shit. That's why I messed up. Because that's what they was giving. They was giving women's division. They was giving Doris. They was giving, oh my gosh, my man. That's what it was giving. And I was like, oh, okay. The divas, okay? That's what it was giving, y'all. I'm sorry. Apologies. Oh, and Gunther. Gunther got bitch slapped and almost got speared, but he ran out the ring. End of the conversation. Do y'all really care about Gunther? Dead ass. Like, I know that a lot of people, he said, I'm going to do it worse. I'm going to fall out. I can't. I know a lot of people, like, are happy that Gunther got the title back, but it's been a few weeks since Gunther got the title back, and Gunther has not been booked to main event any show, and he is the champion. I'm just asking.
Somebody shit.
Because, like, if he's champion, he should be closing out the show or at least opening it. And it usually is always Seth, or it's Rhea, or it's EO, or it's somebody else opening the show. He never is that guy. He always is either in the middle or closer towards the end, but not enough for you to care about what's going on. And to me, that says a lot. That says a lot. But anyways, I think Evolution will be a great card. I think it's going to be an amazing show. Again, it's going to be on July 13th on Sunday. I hope y'all enjoy it and watch it. Please encourage everybody to watch Evolution. It is imperative that you do. It is an all-women's PLE, but it's going to be well worth the time and the effort that they're putting into it. Okay? Now, like I said, I don't agree with all of the bookings or all the matches, but I will say this. I do believe that this particular Evolution is better suited. It was better selected, and it has a better card than the last one. The last one looked sloppy and was thrown together. This one looks like there was some true intention behind it, and they're actually going to do something worthwhile. And whoever wins this battle royal is headed to Clash in Paris. Okay? That's a big thing. Some of y'all are not paying attention, and y'all are just ready and willing to knock everything down. You know what I'm saying? I could have gone in 2018, but I met Becky for the first time for free. Okay. So we got the Battle Royal, Rhea and Io, Trish and Tiffany, and then we have JC and Jordynne Grace. The Intercontinental Championship is also being defended, and it's interesting that Julia doesn't have a match on this card. I suspect by Friday she should. They should run it back with Zelina Vega and Julia, seeing as how Julia hasn't really been given any opponent. No one has been worked up or at least built up to go after Julia yet. And then, of course, you have the tag team titles. And then the final match, which is a non-title bout, is a no-holds-barred match with Naomi and Jade Cargill. Now, speaking of, time, Slamversary is going to be probably that week after, which is on the week of the 20th. It is. Slamversary is next week. So, you have Masha Slamovich. She will be defending her title in a title versus title match against whoever wins at Evolution. If Jordynne Grace wins, Jordynne Grace will be returning to her old stomping ground and competing against an old foe and a good friend in Masha Slamovich. But if JC Jane wins, she'll be going into a whole new territory, facing off against one of the most formidable knockouts champions in TNA history in Masha Slamovich. So there's a lot riding on the match between JC and Jordynne Grace. Not only does Jordynne Grace have to wrestle at Slammiversary, but she also will be competing at NXT's Great American Bash. She's going to be tagging with Blake Monroe to face off against the other two members of Fatal Attraction in Fallon and Jasmine Nix. Okay? And not only is Jordynne doing double duty, but so is Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka will be defending her NXT North American Championship against Izzy Dame. And y'all know that she has her best friend, her new best friend, Tatum, all up in her corner, child. Oh. Let's go back to Slammiversary. We got Masha facing off against JC Jane or Jordynne Grace. Not quite sure who that will be just yet. But you also have Joe Hendry and Mike Santana facing off against Trick Williams in a triple threat for the TNA World Championship. And we also have Moose facing off against Leon Slater for the TNA X Division Championship. And we also have the TNA World Tag Team Championships up for grabs in a ladder match. The Rascals, the Hardys, and First Class are challenging the current champions, the Nemesis, for the TNA Tag Team Championships. And then we have the non-title bouts. The Elegance brand, well, actually, this is a title shot. The Elegance brand are the current Knockouts Tag Team Champions. They will be facing off against the Inspiration, formerly known as the Iconics in WWE. And this is for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. These are your non-title bouts. Cedric Alexander is going to face off against Mustafa Ali. And then you'll have Tessa Blanchard facing off against Indy Hartwell. Okay? Now, back on over to NXT. Obafemi will be facing off against Anamora for the Great American Bash in Atlanta. He will be defending his NXT championship. Anamora run the right to face off against Obafemi in the last match he had against Jasper. Then you have JC Jane, who will be leading up her Fatal Influence. Fatal Influence members Fallon and Jasmine Nix will be facing off against Blake Monroe in her debut match in NXT and Jordan Grace in a tag team match. Okay. Then you have the contract signing for the TNA title. This is going to happen at the Great American Bash. Trick Williams, Mike Santana, and Joe Hendry will all be there to sign the contract for the championship match. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Izzy Dane will be challenging Sol Ruka for her NXT North American Championship. And for now, that is your Great American Bash booking. But let me go double check, child. Because they always be adding shit and don't say nothing. I be sitting up here looking stupid. But it seems that is it when it comes to the match card. Now, Saturday Night Main Event only has 3 matches currently on the card. So on the card for Saturday Night Main Event is Seth Rollins versus LA Knight. Gunther will face off against Goldberg in his final match, and it's his retirement match. And of course, Randy Orton is going to face off against Drew McIntyre. That is your matchup for Saturday Night Main Event. And I'm not sure if they're going to add another match to this show, but if I could. It's only 3 matches. The show was usually, 2 hours? Is it 2 hours for main event?
Something like that. 2 hours, hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. I would add another show. Now, the only other event that is happening on that weekend or that week is AEW's All In. And I always go to their website to make sure I pull it up so I can show y'all everything. Okay? So we're going to be nice and show y'all everything because there are more than just WWE out here in this world. And if you enjoy wrestling, you can enjoy wrestling from just about anywhere. Okay? So listen up, children. AEW has All In Texas, which All In Texas has been booked for quite some time. And WWE decided to just stack the deck against AEW with All In Texas. Don't ask me why. I don't know. They have no reason to do this other than they're trying to bury them, which is messy as fuck, but go off. Now, I will give AEW some credit. They have been doing their own thing as of lately and haven't been worried too much about what WWE is doing. That is your smartest move. They also had some record sales for AEW's ticket sales this week when it came to All In Texas. They have sold 2.5 million tickets, according to Tony Khan. Now, I don't know how much of that is true, but that's what him said, okay? So if it is true, congratulations. I am happy for you. Let's get into the match card for All In Texas. Let's scroll down a little bit. All right. All In Texas has been adding some new matches as we see. AEW has a lot of championships. They have a lot. The TNT Championship is currently being held by none other than Adam Cole, baby. Okay. Adam Cole will be going up against Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship. In the tag team division, the current tag team champions are the Hurt Syndicate, and they will be going up against the Patriarchy and Jet Speed, which I believe consists of Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. If I'm wrong, please correct me. This is a triple threat tag team championship match. It looked like The Hurt Syndicate look like they are part of Rhythm Nation, but do you, baby? Now the Young Bucks are going to be facing off against Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay, and of course there is a Casino Gauntlet match, and this is the women's Casino Gauntlet match, and whoever wins gains a guaranteed world title shot. Now, in terms of the men's All In Texas Casino Gauntlet match, they also get a guaranteed title shot, but this is different. You see, Mark Briscoe and MJF have been battling it out over the last couple of weeks, and because of their nastiness, they also will be competing as the 1 and the 2 spot in the Gauntlet match. But then Mystico is here in the background, and I honestly have no idea why he's there. Can somebody please explain to me, if you're watching this in the playback in the comment section, please explain to me what Mystico is doing there, if he is the third man in or if he's just a part of the gauntlet and they don't know when he would enter. Like, I need clarity because your girl has not been watching All In or AEW at all, so I'm gonna need a little bit of help. Now, All In Texas is gonna have a couple of matches that I'm actually looking forward to and I really want to watch, but I'm poor. Can't afford it. So this match between Okada and Omega I really want to see, and it's for the AEW Unified Championship. You see, Okada is the current Continental Champion, and Kenny Omega is the AEW International Champion. So to unify these titles and to remove these two separate champs and only have one left, they decided to create an entirely new belt, which is what you see between these two men, and call it the AEW Unified Championship. It's a beautiful belt, by the way. So whoever wins this match takes all the gold, gets to take home those two defunct belts, and become the new AEW Unified Champion. Now, this is the other match I'm actually looking forward to. Mercedes Moné versus none other than the beautiful and vivacious Toni Storm. And whoever wins will be the AEW Women's Champion. Now, for weeks, these two have been attacking, going at each other's throats, promo for promo, and they have made this very interesting. However, I believe that Mercedes Moné is probably going to get this W and be walking around with her 17th belt. Okay. Now, all of you who have justified Mercedes Moné wearing all these titles, I hope you understand that when one person is dominating or monopolizing an opportunity or opportunities, that cuts out an entire division of women who could also be built up to carry that division. But what do I know? I'm just a lowly fan watching wrestling. With all that being said, the last match on this card for All In Texas is Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page, and they will be fighting in a Texas death match for the AEW Men's Championship. A Texas death match. I'm not a fan of death matches. I never have been. And the last one we saw at AEW wasn't that great. But I suspect that this time they're going to double check, cross their T's and dot their I's, and make sure they get the spectacular moment that they were looking for. Okay. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend for wrestling is going to be absolutely batshit bonkers. Okay. It's gonna be crazy with a capital A, baby. Okay, with a capital C, it's gonna be crazy. I can't talk today. It's gonna be nuts. I lost track when Mercedes won her 4th title. Well, she's on like her 7th title at this current moment. With all that being said, loves, I highly recommend that you tune in to Evolution. Saturday Night Main Event is not something that I would request that you watch. I honestly think that that's something that you can, decide what you want to do with. If you decide you don't want to watch that, that's your business. But me personally, I don't think Saturday Night Main Event is something you have to see. Grande Great American Bash, I think, is something that you should watch. I also think that you should tune into All in Texas. I think All in Texas is going to be a really, really good show, and it'll be well worth the watch. And that following week when Slammiversary comes on, I hope you guys all tune into Slammiversary. TNA is a good product. They have some really fun matches and great storylines. And they have awesome wrestlers there too. One of my favorite wrestlers is there, and it's Steve Macklin. And I love Steve Macklin. So I was hoping they would put Steve Macklin on the card going up against Jake something, but they haven't announced that yet. I think they're done making announcements for the cards, but it doesn't matter. So I missed the last Saturday night main event because I went out with my friends, but I know enough of what happened. You didn't miss anything on that card either, honestly. That Saturday night main event honestly isn't for those of us who watch regularly. That's more for people who watch it because it's on TV on NBC. You know what I'm saying? But for the other PLEs that are coming out this year, we have SummerSlam coming out on August 2nd. So a few weeks after after this week, in a few weeks, we'll be heading into SummerSlam. It's fucking nuts how fast shit comes. And there's already a match booked for SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes is going to be facing off against John Cena again for the undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes earned the right to challenge John Cena due to him winning King of the Ring this past weekend, or the weekend before last, when they were in Saudi for Night of Champions. Now, the next PLE after SummerSlam is going to be Clash in Paris. This is where the winner of this battle royal will be able to compete against the champion for Raw or SmackDown for the title. Okay? And then on that Monday Night Raw afterwards, they'll still be in Paris, and that'll be on September 1st. Then we're trickling down to October, and the weekend of October, the 10th through the 13th, they will be in Australia for both SmackDown and Raw, and then Crown Jewel will emanate from Perth on Saturday. And then the final big show of the year is Survivor Series War Games that is already scheduled to hit San Diego, California on Saturday, November 29th at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, these are all of the PLEs of the year. And then next year, WrestleMania is going to emanate from Las Vegas once again. And this time, instead of it being in early April, it's going to be in mid-April on April 18th and 19th, which is a Saturday and a Sunday. All right. So, everybody knows all of the good stuff. Yes? All right. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all so much. Please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you push that thumb, give me that like, make me get my videos out there so people can see me. I want to be seen. Okay. And I will see you guys next time. I love y'all. I know that I am a lot, but you got to stick with me because I'm your girl. And if you want to do me a solid and support my other projects, please do. We have Down for the Count. You can follow us over there on YouTube and Twitter. And of course, you can listen to our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And you can also listen to my other podcasts that I put out once or twice a month over on my other YouTube channel, my lifestyle channel. And this is up on Spotify right now. Me and Don had a whole conversation about music, the current music that's out. We talked about Drake's new single. We talked about Cardi B's new single. We talked about the state of the Billboard Hot 100. And we also talked about Asian influence over hip hop, pop, and rap music. It was a very interesting conversation. So if you want to hear all of that, then you can head on over to Spotify and you can just listen, type in stuff I want to talk about, and that podcast will pop up and you can listen to us rant and rave about music. And there are past pods up there that you can listen to too. But once or twice a month, I'm going to be putting out a new regular podcast over there. And I highly encourage you guys to go over and follow. As usual, if you want to support the channel, you can do it one of two ways. You can become a member, $2.99, 99 cents. Memberships get very big discounts on the merch that we provide. Or you could just buy merch. You can do super chats if you want to, or you could just buy merch. Buy the merch. The merch is up on our Fourth Wall website. I always make sure the merch is available so you can shop it. So please do. I appreciate it. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Once again, thank you so much for the support. I will see you guys Wednesday after NXT. We'll talk about NXT. We'll go over the card again, and I'll give you my predictions. And we'll talk about everything else in between. Plus, we'll do our lifestyle stuff, and we may even do some more Reddit posts because our themes, y'all really like the Reddit stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.